Now the third ventricle is located in an area which overlies a space between the two diencephalic regions of each cerebral hemisphere. And that area is represented at this point, in this specimen. In this specimen, where the upper part has been dissected out, you can see the corpus callosum, which is here. In this specimen, it is this area, which is the diencephalic region. So here is the diencephalic region. And in the diencephalic region, you can see this large mass extending posteriorly up to there. So this large mass, and in this specimen, you can see this large mass with the posterior extension at this point. These two are the dorsal thalami, which we normally refer to as the thalamus. So we have the dorsal thalamus or the thalamus, dorsal thalamus or the thalamus, and then you have a groove which extends anteriorly from the interventricular foramen all the way up to the aqueduct at this point. Now this is the tegmentum of the midbrain, this is the tectum of the midbrain, and that's the aqueduct. So extending from the interventricular foramen all the way up to the aqueduct, there is this groove which you can see the groove very clearly, and this is a groove which sort of divides this region into, it's called the dorsal thalamus, which is the thalamus. This is the ventral part, which is either called the ventral thalamus or the hypothalamus. And the sulcus, which I've just described, is the hypothalamic sulcus, very clearly seen. So I'll repeat: the dorsal thalamus or the thalamus, the ventral thalamus or the hypothalamus, the hypothalamic sulcus, which divides these two regions, and just above the hypothalamic sulcus, a little anteriorly placed, is a mass. It's a mass of fibers and nuclei, small dispersed neurons. So it's a combination of both, which interconnects the two thalami. So in this specimen, you can see it here, this rounded area. So this is called the thalamic adhesion. It's a junction between the two thalami on either sides. And this junction, it passes through the third ventricle. So the third ventricle is located in this whole region, in between the two diencephalic areas. So this is the region of the third ventricle. And you can see this structure, which is the thalamic adhesion, which is also called the massa intermedia. Then if you look at the thalamus, passing right across the thalamus, it's in fact, let me show you this structure, which you've seen before, but I'm just refreshing. This is the splenium, that's the body, that's the genu, that's the rostrum, and the rostrum continues anteriorly as the lamina terminalis, which comes up to the region of the optic chiasma, which is here. So that's the lamina terminalis. So this structure, which you can see, it's a bundle of white fibers which are passing along the lateral wall of the third ventricle. So what you can see here is the lateral wall. So what are the structures in the lateral wall? You see the dorsal thalamus or the thalamus, you see the ventral thalamus or the hypothalamus, and you see this fiber part which is going along the medial surface of the thalamus, passing along the third ventricle. This is the stria medullaris thalami, and it passes over this region and it comes lateral to the lamina terminalis, and it is related to this area. This is called the septal area. The nuclei is also called the septum or the septal nucleus. So it's an area at this point. And from here it goes all the way dorsally just below the splenium of the corpus callosum. And that's where we have the epithalamic region or the pineal gland. It's this area at this point. So it's not very clear in this one, but the pineal gland is just below the splenium, centrally located. So that is the extension. So if we are going to see the specific borders or boundaries of the third ventricle, so what would be the boundaries? If you look at this area, you have a superior boundary which is called the roof, you have an inferior boundary which is called the floor, we have an anterior boundary, and we have a posterior boundary. And this gives you the outline of the third ventricle. So if you look at the third ventricle here, superiorly you have the fornix, and extending above the fornix is the septum pellucidum, which is attached to the corpus callosum. So you have the fornix, you have the septum pellucidum forming the roof here in this region, and that comes and meets at this point, which is the anterior commissure. So you can see the structure. Anterior commissure, this is the genu, this is the rostrum, this is the lamina terminalis, this is the optic chiasma. So just posterior to the lamina terminalis is the anterior commissure. So this now forms the anterior boundary. So the anterior boundary of the third ventricle is formed by the rostrum, the anterior commissure, the lamina terminalis, right up to the point of the optic chiasma, where it now continues as the inferior border or the floor. And posteriorly, this part goes right up to the region of the pineal gland or the epithalamic region. So let's look at this region now, the region of the floor. And where we have the optic chiasma, the third ventricle tends to move into the optic chiasma region, forming an anterior recess. And that recess is related to the optic chiasma. Okay? So that's the chiasmatic recess. It's not the chiasmatic cistern, that's a different thing. That's a subarachnoid space which is located here. This is a recess, it's called the anterior recess or the optic recess. I think that's what's given in your book. So that's the optic recess. And then at this point is the infundibulum of the pituitary. And here there is another small recess. Okay, the infundibular recess. So you have the anterior recess, which is the optic recess. Then you have an infundibular recess. Then posterior to that is the mammillary body. And then posterior to that in this region is the tuberous cinereum. And then you have an area which is called the posterior perforated substance. And then you have the tegmentum of the midbrain. And that's the tectum. So that's the tectum region, the colliculus. In the posterior border or the boundary, where the third ventricle moves back, it moves in relation to the epithalamus, which is the pineal region. And there the pineal gland has a stalk which bifurcates. One goes upwards, one goes downwards. And between the two, there's a small triangular space. Now that cannot be seen here. I'm just trying to draw the relationship between the third ventricle and where it extends posteriorly. So where it extends posteriorly is in relation to the epithalamus, which contains the pineal gland and the two stalks of the pineal gland, a superior and inferior. The superior one is related to the habenular commissure and the habenular nucleus, and the inferior one is related to the posterior commissure. So in between, the third ventricle moves into a small recess, okay, which is called the posterior recess, pineal recess. So these are the boundaries and recesses of the third ventricle. And then of course the third ventricle continues into the aqueduct. So it will continue into the aqueduct in this region. Okay, so that completes the third ventricle.